On a crisp autumn evening in Portland, Oregon, where the leaves painted the streets in shades of amber and crimson, Emily sat on a park bench near the waterfront. It was her 26th birthday, but the day felt as empty as the crumpled coffee cup she held, hoping to collect a few dollars from passers-by. Her faded hoodie did little to keep out the chill, and her sneakers had holes that let the damp seep in. Emily had no home, no family, and no expectation of even a slice of cake to mark the occasion. Orphaned as a teenager after a car accident took her parents, she'd bounced through foster care and ended up on the streets, her dreams buried under years of survival. Her hazel eyes, once full of ambition, now stared at the Willamette River, searching for a reason to keep going. Across the park, Jack walked hand in hand with his 7-year-old daughter, Lily. Jack, a single dad, owned a small coffee shop called Bean and Brew that barely broke even in the competitive city. His wife had passed away from cancer when Lily was 3, leaving Jack to raise their daughter alone. Every Sunday evening, they'd stroll through the waterfront park, ending their walk with a treat from a nearby bakery. Lily, with her blonde ponytail swinging and a twinkle in her blue eyes, clutched a little paper bag containing a blueberry muffin, her favorite. But as they passed Emily, Lily slowed, her small hand tightening around Jack's. "Daddy, why's that lady sitting by herself?" Lily asked, her voice soft with worry. "She looks like she's sad." Jack glanced at Emily, noticing the way she hunched against the wind, her face etched with quiet despair. He'd seen people like her before. Portland had its share of folks down on their luck, but he'd always kept moving, telling himself he couldn't fix everyone's problems. Today, though, Lily's question tugged at his heart. "Maybe she's having a rough day, sweetheart," he said gently. "What do you think we could do to help?" Lily's face lit up with a child's unshakable conviction. "We should give her my muffin. It'll make her happy." Jack hesitated. The muffin was Lily's weekly treat, and money was tight, every dollar counted. But seeing his daughter's earnest expression, he couldn't refuse. "Okay, kiddo," he said, smiling. "Let's go say hi." Emily barely registered the father and daughter approaching until Lily's voice broke through her thoughts. "Hi. I'm Lily. This is my muffin, but I want you to have it." She held out the paper bag, her eyes bright with hope. Emily blinked, caught off guard. "For me?" she asked, her voice rough from hours of silence. She looked at Jack, expecting some kind of ulterior motive, but his warm, slightly awkward smile put her at ease. Hesitantly, she took the bag and peeked inside to find a plump blueberry muffin, still warm. The simple gesture hit her like a wave, and her throat tightened. "Why would you give this to me?" she whispered. "Because you look like you need it more," Lily said simply. "And Daddy says being kind makes the world a better place." Jack chuckled, rubbing the back of his neck. "She's got a point. I'm Jack, by the way. We're just out for our Sunday walk, but Lily thought you might like some company." Emily's eyes stung, and she quickly wiped away a tear. "Today's my birthday," she admitted, her voice barely audible. "I didn't think anyone would notice." Lily gasped, her hands flying to her cheeks. "Your birthday? Daddy, we have to do something special." She tugged at Jack's jacket, her excitement contagious. Jack, caught off guard, looked at Emily, who seemed overwhelmed by their attention. Logic told him to tread carefully. He didn't know her, and his first priority was Lily's safety. But his heart, shaped by years of raising a daughter who saw the good in everyone, pushed him to act. "Well," he said, thinking on his feet, "the bakery's still open. How about we grab a cake to celebrate?" "My treat." Emily shook her head, flustered. "No, really, you don't have to. This muffin's already more than I've had in years." But Lily wasn't backing down. "Birthdays need cake," she declared, grabbing Emily's hand with surprising determination. "Come with us." Against her instincts, Emily let herself be pulled along, leaving her coffee cup on the bench. At the bakery, a cozy spot called Sweet Haven, Jack insisted on buying a small chocolate cake with rainbow sprinkles, Lily's choice. The baker, an older woman named Mrs. Carter, overheard their story and threw in a few extra cookies, winking at Lily. "For the birthday girl and her new friends," she said. They returned to the park, spreading out a picnic blanket Jack kept in his backpack for their outings. Under the glow of a nearby streetlight, they shared the cake, Lily chattering about her school, her pet hamster, and her love for drawing. Emily listened, her heart softening with every word. Jack, sensing Emily's reluctance to share her own story, kept the conversation light, but his quiet kindness made her feel seen for the first time in years. As the night grew cooler, Emily opened up. She told them about losing her parents, struggling through foster care, and ending up homeless. "I used to want to be a librarian," she said, staring at the river. "I loved books, the way they could take you somewhere else. But dreams don't pay the bills." Jack listened, his mind turning. His coffee shop wasn't just a business, it was a community hub where locals gathered, and he'd been struggling to keep up with demand alone. Emily's story sparked an idea. "This might sound out of the blue," he said cautiously, "but I could use help at my shop. It's nothing fancy, serving coffee, maybe helping with the book nook we have for customers. It comes with a small paycheck and a room above the shop. If you're interested, you could give it a shot." Emily stared at him, stunned. "Why would you offer me that? You don't even know me." Jack shrugged, his smile genuine. "I know you made my daughter's night by accepting her muffin. And I know you've got a story worth telling. That's enough for me." Lily, half asleep against Jack's shoulder, mumbled, "You're our friend now, Emily. Friends help each other." Tears streamed down Emily's face, but they were tears of gratitude. She nodded, unable to speak. That night, she followed Jack and Lily to Bean and Brew, where a small studio apartment above the shop awaited, furnished with a bed, a lamp, and a shelf of second-hand books. It was more than a room, it was a lifeline. Over the next few months, Emily blossomed. She threw herself into the coffee shop, her natural warmth drawing in customers. She organized the book nook, reading stories to kids during weekend events, and Lily became her biggest fan, calling her Miss Emily. Jack, ever patient, gave her space to find her footing, but their late-night chats over coffee grew deeper, their connection growing into something neither was ready to name. One day, Emily found an old library science textbook in the shop's book nook and began reading it in her spare time. When Jack noticed, he encouraged her to pursue her dream, even helping her apply for a local community college program. By her next birthday, Emily was no longer the woman on the park bench. She was a part-time barista, a library science student, and a friend. The coffee shop hosted a party, with Mrs. Carter donating a towering cake and half the neighborhood showing up to celebrate. As Emily blew out her candles, surrounded by warmth and laughter, she made a wish, not for herself, but for Jack and Lily, who had given her more than a muffin that fateful day. They had given her a future. Years later, as Emily stood behind the counter of her own small library branch, helping kids discover the magic of books, she kept a framed photo on her desk, her, Jack, and Lily in the park, sharing a cake under a streetlight. It was a reminder that a single act of kindness could change a life forever. And in the evenings, when she returned to Bean and Brew, now her home, she'd find Jack waiting with a fresh cup of coffee, Lily sketching at a table, and her heart would echo the truth Lily had known all along: kindness makes the world a better place.